Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Had some complications, couldn't get in. Regular song and dance. Today we're going to be talking to Miguel Guerra about his book Ghost Metal and about a bunch of other stuff that's been going on in the news. But it's crazy. But before we get into that, let's roll the videotape. Let's get into the show. We are Bronx Heroes, Comic Con Live. And here we are on Twitch and YouTube. So we're going to wait for Miguel Guerra to come in. So in recent news, I hate to talk about this stuff, but in recent news, in recent news, you have this whole thing about Chris Rock. Oh my God. It's like, it says like we forgot about the war in Ukraine. Americans are so like yesterday's news. Ukraine is yesterday's news. All of a sudden, we're having to deal with. We have to deal with Chris Rock now. It's like okay, it's weird. It's a weird. We're at the brink of World War III, and then people care more about the Oscars than an imminent nuclear attack. I don't know. Go figure, United States. I don't get it. It is what it is. So I find it kind of crazy, but that's what we have. That's what we have. I don't know. Comics. Well, something's going on with the Kickstarter. I still can't figure it out. We were supposed to have a Kickstarter launch, and it didn't happen. And it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I'm a novice to Kickstarter, never used it before, but I watched all the videos, read all the instructions, yada, yada, yada. And it says it gives you like a 3-day review, and it didn't happen. It's like, what's going on? So let me ask this guy. We have a specialist here, Miguel Guerra. Come on in, author of Ghost Metal, amongst many other things.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, it's Guerra.
Guerra.
Guerra. Yeah.
What did I say? Guerrero? Guerra?
Guerra, yeah.
My Spanish R's are messed up. Sorry about that. Guerra.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. Just teasing you. How you doing?
I'm good. Well, like I say Felix, but my father always said Felix. Like if
Felix.
he fell down, like fell. Felix.
Right. Felix. Yeah. It gets confusing after a while. You kind of like I have to sort of pause and think about that.
Right.
So, yeah.
How you been?
Pretty good.
How's Europe over there? You're in Paris, right?
Yeah, I'm just outside. Well, it's hoping for not having World War III.
Right. I find it so funny. I was just saying before you came on that we were at the brink of World War III last week, and now this week it's all about Chris Rock. And it's like in Will Smith, it's like Americans are like so short-sighted. We're like, oh, look at this. Don't look at that.
Right, bro.
This week will be something else. It'll be like Pound Puppies or something. I don't know. It's like
Actually, I kind of welcomed it for various reasons.
right. Yeah, it is a little stressful.
But it is true. We're like the dog from Up.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
"Squirrel."
Look here, look here. It's like,
Here, look here, and, I mean,
it's
there's so much to unpack on that, people have sort of sided with both of these guys in different ways, and it's just like,
it
eh, there's
it
so much
reminds me of my
to.
own experience 1 year ago today,
Right, right,
with that,
right.
she who shall not be named. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah. Hopefully I haven't talked to you about that. Has that straightened out for you a bit?
I just started ignoring it. It's just like, it is what it is, they're trying to make some other stuff up, but,
That's crazy.
we'll talk in detail afterwards, but it's just like,
Sure.
you have to ignore stupidity, and blatant criminality. It's like,
Or you get the popcorn out, and you just sort of sit back and go, especially certain stupidity that doesn't
right,
involve yourself. Take out
right,
the popcorn, sit back, and just go, this is all foobar. It's all messed up. So sit
yeah.
back and just watch the show.
Just watch the show. You're just like, this is crazy. Some people are saying now that this whole Chris Rock thing is fake, and with these little videos, I was like, no, that's not fake. That's Philadelphia and Baltimore raging out on Queens, New York, right? That's what because
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. He was from Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
So
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, and it has to be said too. They were both wrong in different ways.
yeah,
I mean, on the surface, you can think it was just a slight joke,
yeah,
but overall, it has to be said that Black women have been teased and mistreated over their hair for a long time.
forever, man. Going back
So,
to the colonization.
yeah, and I mean, there's been laws, all sorts of stuff. So that was like a landmine. I
Right,
mean, right there. Even if Will wouldn't have slapped him, I know a lot of because he did that documentary, Good Hair, which a
right,
lot of black women hated too, by the way. They
yeah,
thought that it was a mockumentary. So it was just he just did a lot of and let's face it, he can be very sharp, very perceptive, but he can
right,
also be very misogynistic. I
right,
mean, there's no getting around that, you know. Uh, does that warrant him getting slapped?
right. No.
Will could have handled it and actually dressed him down pretty good, I think. And,
Hmm.
he could have gone up, gotten the Oscar, and said, "Hey, it's nice seeing you lawn jockey for white supremacy. And out of all the women here, you picked a black woman to pick on.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I won this Oscar as playing the father
Exactly.
of these two women, black women, who are continuously being, beaten down for not looking like European women." He could
Right.
have really dressed them down hard, and I don't think Chris would have recovered from that. But he
Yeah.
he
He
also
used his words instead of his.
well, he wanted to prove to Jada that I
Yeah.
guess he cared or something. They used Tupac.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen the animations that people have been doing of this?
Did you hear about OJ?
Yes. You
That
should.
to me was that was comedy gold. That to me was just fan freaking tastic.
The guy is accused of being. He went too
I think
far.
Will went too far. I'm
Yeah,
like,
cut off your wife's breast and chopped off her head, but it's like, wow, it's like,
that's just mild, man. That's just mild.
you guys,
This is and Alec Baldwin came out and
yeah.
said stuff, and people had to remind him, "Hey, aren't you the guy that shot somebody?"
Aren't you the one that shot that lady? It's like,
Right. Howard Stern came out and said,
yeah,
uh, Will Smith is just like Donald Trump. And to that, I say he shares a lot in common with Justin Trudeau. Both
yeah.
of them wore blackface.
There you go. There
There
you
we
go.
go. Right. So, hey, it's such a wonderful shit show.
You gotta laugh at this. Take a look at this. This is a riot. This is a riot. Let's see if we can. Let's see if
It's
we can
great.
laugh.
It's great.
I-
So,
in line with your ghost metal and like your cartoonish style. This is
Get a new mattress for as little as
take a, this is
$11 a month
15
from
seconds.
Raymore and
Let's see this.
Flanagan. Shop the best selection of lead.
This is hilarious. One of my kids showed me this. That was funny.
oh, I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it?
No, I can't see it.
Oh, hold on a second. I gotta plug it. Me and my technical difficulties. Oh, here we go. Entire window. I gotta hit cancel. Oh, you know what it is? My computer is slowing up now.
Oh, even Jim Carrey came out and said some smack too.
That was everyone's weighing in on it. Everyone and their mother, the local homeless guy, everybody is like
Awesome. Even Jim Carrey got slammed
right.
because he forced himself on Alicia Silverstone back in the '90s when he got his
Really?
award. Yeah, he went up to pick up his MTV award and he forced himself on her.
He was
So,
like drunk. Can you see
yeah,
it now?
man.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
It's like the Batman. It's like that Batman. Robin cartoon.
Will Smith slap the motherfucker rock top my name on live television? He just slapped the shit out of me. What's wrong with y'all? The shit ain't funny. My wife's name out your fucking mouth. My wife's name out your fucking mouth. I ain't even say her name, bro. I said G.I. Jane, bro. My wife's name out your fucking mouth. G.I. shit with J's in it. But Will, J's are in a lot of words. I like a lot of words that start with J's. You a junior, nigga. I did not wear a jump. Come out your fucking mouth. But what if it's a G that sound like a J? Like the G in G unit. You better not say that shit. Can I still listen to Jada Kiss? No. You only listen to Dipset now. But Jim Jones started with a J. You listen to everybody except Jim Jones. But Jim Jones, fuck, he is not. I don't know what's like your ass. Yeah. Come on, Cameron said computers putin', bro. Like, hey, well, hold on, sit down, sit back down, Will Smith.
Executive producer's Chris Rock. That's hilarious. They even gave him credit as a producer.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's I think it was much needed relief. I think everything was getting so serious. We all needed a break and a good laugh.
Oh my god.
But you know what makes it extra funny, right? Is that Will Smith has created this persona around himself of being Mr. Bubbly Nice Guy.
Yeah.
So when you see Mr. Bubbly Nice Guy lose his crap,
it's like Mr. Rogers losing his shit.
It's awesome. It's awesome, right? It's just like, I don't know, if you start seeing Captain America swear or something, you're like, whoa, man, that's not you. It just kind of adds to the humor. So, you know, if it was Snoop Dogg or take any man, even take The Rock or something, it'd be like, you know, or Mike Tyson, we wouldn't be surprised. We'd just be like, yeah, that happens.
I like how these celebrities are squaring up. People like, oh, he would have done that if it was The Rock.
Right. But see, someone said online, he wouldn't have done it if it was Jason Momoa.
Right.
And I said, Jason Momoa wouldn't be cracking that joke because of one name, Lisa Bonet.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, similar.
She would have been like, "You said what?"
Exactly.
And he would have been in the doghouse. And I'm sure The Rock the same thing. The thing is, Chris has been very open about his issues with. He's got issues. I mean, that's just has to be said. As smart of a guy as he is, he said some stuff. But doesn't Warren get slapped?
Right. Apparently, it's been going on for quite some time. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know the way he took it. The way he took it really good. He took that slap pretty good. It tells you one thing: he's gotten slapped a lot.
Exactly. He was preparing for it. He put his hands behind his back to balance.
Oh yeah, and he would sort of brace for it. And I'm like,
I think he was antagonizing him. He leaned forward, so he'd be like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're in front of all these people on TV."
And he did it. He did it.
He literally leaned in, like, "Go ahead, I dare you." You know.
He did it.
You know.
But I love how everybody's trying to jump on him, on Will. And it's like all their dirty laundry's coming out too, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, I'm ducking."
What I find funny though is that how, like, they've been really on the attack, these award shows. Like, what was it? Rebel Wilson said something about his wife 2 weeks ago at this other award ceremony.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you? It was in England that they had this award ceremony, and that was pretty crazy too. I was like,
This is Will Smith's wife they were after?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they've been kind of dogging him too much. I know
yeah,
50 Cent.
way too much. I could see why she's. It was at the BAFTA Film Awards. You know.
Oh, really? Wow. And so, yeah, you can't be doing that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I'll
yeah, I think
forward that one. We gotta take a look at that. Then we'll talk about Ghost Metal.
This year, the Best Director category has been split between 3 female directors and 3 normal directors. I really do love that song. Diamonds Are Forever. And so are leg tattoos of Daniel Craig. Because you know what they say, once you go back, you don't go back.
I'm gonna fast forward. Let's see.
Will Smith winning for King Richard. But personally, I thought his best performance in the past year has been being okay with all of his wife's boyfriends. What? Come on, he didn't show up. You can't use COVID as an excuse anymore. I'm very
Cold, right? Cold blood.
but you know, what goes around comes around.
Yeah, that was blood in the water right there.
But you know, what goes around comes around. It's I think a lot of people were saying that if it had been Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
that Chappelle would have continued. And to that I say no. And I'll tell you why. Years ago, Dave Chappelle mentioned his good friend Martin Lawrence, and he
Mhm.
said he used Martin Lawrence as an example of how crazy Hollywood is. He
Right.
says, you know, Martin Lawrence is like the strongest guy he knows mentally.
Right.
And he says, you know, one day you turn on the news and you see Martin Lawrence running down Hollywood in his underwear with a gun saying, "They're trying to kill me."
Right.
Right. And he says, you know, it wasn't that he was crazy, is that he broke down.
Right.
Right? And he says this business has a way of breaking you down. So he was mentioning, you know, how he ended up leaving and going to Africa and stuff. So
Right.
I think he would have understood that Will was having his Martin Lawrence moment,
Right. Exactly.
which is funny because both of them were in Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's hilarious.
so, you know, I mean, you know, there's so much to go around in that. And sure, people could say stuff about Jada and stuff, but I mean, it was all around just sad. I mean, it's just sad.
My wife got mad at me yesterday because I started siding with Chris Rock.
Oh,
She was like, "No, it's not. You're changing things. I thought you were on Will Smith's side."
see, he's lucky he didn't tangle with Michael Jackson though,
Ah, yeah.
because Eminem did.
Right.
He bought his entire catalog.
Oh, did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Michael
Bought,
Jackson bought his own catalog.
bought his entire catalog. So every time he performed, Michael made money off of him.
Whoa, really?
Michael was ruthless, man. I
Yeah,
was like,
for real.
you
He did
know,
the same thing with the Beatles too.
mhm, he was cold. So he's lucky, or else every single Chris Rock stand up that he'd be up there, or be sitting there in the audience laughing, saying, "Keep telling them jokes because I'm going to be making money off you."
Exactly. Shoot, I would say that Michael Jackson and Prince were some of the smartest
Mhm.
guys that were in the room when it came
Yeah,
to music and contracts and stuff like that.
they were awesome. They
Yeah.
were awesome. Definitely inspirational. Two of my
Yeah.
favorite artists.
And even Frank Sinatra, I mean, he was one of the first guys to trademark his own image,
Wow.
so that the photographers, the paparazzi, had to pay him every time they shot a picture of him.
Hey, got to be smart. Can't be
Yeah.
slapping people.
Exactly.
To think that a guy that has $700 million
Yeah, it's nuts.
slaps someone. But let's put it into perspective, though. I mean, a
Mhm,
lot of people making big hay about the violence.
mhm.
People were laughing about Charlie Murphy
That's right.
assaulting Rick James. Rick
James.
James back. So there's a lot of comedians saying, well, this violence. It's like, wait a second. If you guys laughed and they were funny stories,
Right.
Charlie Murphy stories, literally physically assaulting someone, and then
Exactly.
you do it live, you can't. It's a double standard. I know that Will shouldn't have done that, but there's a certain level of violence that we accept too.
Right. Right. Right.
So it
Absolutely. Plus, Americans are obsessed with violence. They hate skin flicks, but like don't show that to kids. But they show them as many Grand Theft Autos as you can stomach.
yep.
It's
I,
like
I I could tell you when I was 8 and I left Spain, went to North America. If you saw naked people on TV, not a big deal.
yeah,
Violence was like, ooh. And then I get to North America, and it's like the inverse. It's like Bizarro World. It's like, no,
exactly.
no, can't see that stuff. But hey, you want to see a severed head? You want to
Right,
see?
exactly. Isn't that so bizarre?
It is.
Isn't
It
that
is. You,
bizarre?
you
Even
would
my
think,
wife, like if I'm watching something with my son, like a stand-up, you talk about Dave Chappelle,
right?
and I was like, "Well, honey, he's 13, not a little baby anymore, and if we don't show him what to watch and what not to watch, and he's gonna end up having other people introduce him to these things. So
Yeah.
I'd rather, like my father used to let me drink when I was a teenager, and
Mhm.
and his logic was similar. Like, well, he's gonna go out and drink outside,
Right.
so might as well just stay home and drink in the house where we can watch you.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's sort of a controlled, measured thing. You
Yeah,
know.
like they know I'm not gonna stop. That's my
Right. It's better that at least you can have an eye on what they're doing and not go off. Although today it's so easy for them to get sucked into the machines.
yeah. I
That's
think the
that's
cell phones are horrible. All
oh yeah,
the kids, even though all my students are obsessed, they can't put the damn thing down.
yeah,
I find myself grabbing it, holding it, and like, it's
yeah,
like playing the tug of war. Should I? Should I not? Even when I'm driving, like, no, no, don't do that. Don't like that. I'm gonna. What's on Facebook? That's like, but the kids are just like, they're young. Their minds are still developing, and they're like this. And they're like, hey, can you do the work? Hello, wake up. Like you even see
yep.
them walking like zombies with their phones to their faces, their heads. They have bumps. They have like these hunches growing on their back.
They
Like
don't at your school. They don't confiscate it at the beginning. Yeah,
they
here
started
here
to, they started to, and then stopped.
here in France, it's standard. It's like no phones. They catch it, they take it from you. You don't get it back till like the end of the week or something.
It all depends on who's in charge. And we had like a regime change at my where I work at. So now it's
Mhm.
like they want to be they want the kids to be their friends. So it's sort of like it's chaos.
Right. That's interesting because here the curriculum's national.
Right, right.
So you don't have as much, how would I say, room to play with stuff that way.
Yeah,
So, it's like here's a curriculum, everyone's expected to learn it. Even if you go to private school, you're supposed
right.
to learn a certain basic things that are expected to you as a person who lives in France. So
Yeah,
I find for us, each little corner of our country has something else different that it's learning. So then when we all get together, it's like, what do you mean you don't know that? Because we all learn sort of different pieces of something, right? So,
right, right. Exactly.
and good luck saying we need a national curriculum. All hell will break loose.
I mean, they tried in the '90s, that didn't work. So I was reading your Ghost Metal. But I started from the very beginning.
Mhm.
What a great book, man! I mean,
Oh, thanks.
what inspired you to want to write that story? It's so different from any other comic book I've read.
What inspired me was, well, some of those stories were published in Heavy Metal magazine. Actually, there's a
Ah,
few that didn't make it in because, as we were talking about skin, any nudity is like, blocked out. And
and heavy metal, really? Wow.
yeah, I had three stories, three different times. Don't ask me the dates; it's been a while.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I was published with Heavy Metal magazine, So I had these stories, and I thought, you know what? I have some other short stories that I have. Before the pandemic, I was just going to collect them all into a book and
Mhm.
have it on Amazon,
Right.
uh, just a collection of short stories. And
Mm.
then the pandemic hit.
Wow.
And then I was like, what are we going to do? I don't know. So we heard about Webtoon from a friend. And then we started with Wolf Boy, which the entire graphic novel's up.
Mm.
It's an all ages comic, and it's about Atlantis and stuff. Just funny slapsticky stuff,
Right.
kids stuff. It didn't do very well. Like it didn't get very many subscribers.
Mm.
And then we're like, I don't know. Let's try Ghost. Let's try. We were going to call it Tales of the Absurd.
All right.
And then my wife said, let's get something a little more edgy. She came up with the name Ghost Metal.
It's cool.
And we started, didn't really expect much from it because it's not the usual style in Webtoon. Webtoon tends to be much more anime looking or manga looking. It's almost to the point where, I don't want to berate anybody, but there's a certain typical look. As soon as you go there, you're gonna see.
Right.
You
Right.
could almost say like a house style. I'll be kind, right?
Yeah.
And so we put it up. We were actually pretty surprised at the reaction. And there's a bunch of short stories I already had done. And really, the idea is to not only do a different story or
Right.
have a collection of different stories, but to have different styles with it. So we always sort of switch things up, right?
Right.
Um, and yeah, we've been doing it for a year, a little more than a year,
Right.
and we crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really pushing that.
And you're
And
on issue 100 now, huh?
episode 100, 101 just went up.
Wow. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
episode 101 went up. We're right now doing the story, which is more of a historical fiction, really nothing to do with science fiction or ghost stories, really.
Right.
Um, but it's the story of a man by the name of Joseph Boulogne.
Right.
He was a Chevalier de Saint Georges. He was just a Renaissance man. This guy was incredible, 1700s. And we're just covering his famous duel when he was 17 against a fencing grandmaster
Wow.
and stuff. And a person that I admire very much because he was a composer. He was a soldier, abolitionist, and he was black. So we started at the end of Black History Month. I had kind of missed at the beginning of, but we
Right.
decided, okay, we'll just do it at the end and just continue. So, uh,
Exactly.
so the idea is that once the story is done, you go back and you get a different story. So you'll have something new to sort of like refresh, feast on. Sometimes some stories will come back. So we actually included what we called super corporate heroes. We call past due now. That's
Right.
in there. It's in the mix. Um, so some stuff will reoccur and come in and out. So, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The idea of sci-fi, fantasy, horror,
Hmm.
pretty much. So,
No, it's beautiful artwork too. I mean, it's really.
oh, thank you.
I'm just like checking out the latest issue. I don't like to jump ahead, but I'm looking at all these images you have here. It's pretty freaking cool.
Thanks.
You know, it's really amazing. You have great talent. You know,
Thanks, man.
it's beautiful work. So, are you working on what 102 now?
Yeah.
When does this come to an end?
This one will probably come to an end about 4 or 3 more episodes, and
Mm.
then we kickstart something else. So I have a certain amount of stories that I have slated for this year.
Any sequels for Wolf Boy and the Magical Warriors, or
We'll see. We'll see in the future. Other things that I want to finish up, like
yeah, I know what you mean. I,
yeah,
I have like before the pandemic, I had like 12 stories that I needed to work on and finish, and I was like, great, I'm going to use this for this. And then when that whole punchline thing happened, when DC announced it,
hmm
punchline was one of the stories I was working on, but it was not the main thing that I was focusing on. I had a lot of
Right,
stuff.
right.
I was working on the second issue of Brother Lone Star, and then the third issue of Runaway Slave, which has been delayed forever.
Hmm.
Uh, then I had like 3 issues of War Without Superhero that I was drawing and didn't finish, and then about 8 issues of War Without Superheroes that um, just haven't made the print because I didn't have time to sit down and color it, And then
Hmm.
I got a fire under me once I saw that DC announced a character that I got that was rejected by me 15 years ago. That really pissed me off. So now I have about 21 stories that I have to finish because I started drawing. I drew like I never drew 10 issues in a year, and I did it.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats. That's
Never
awesome.
did that before. And I published 8 of them, 8 of the 10. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
so I'm just like, I was just like, anger like fueled me. I was just like, screw these guys.
You went full Sith Lord. You channeled the dark side. You're like, yeah.
Like comics just flying out of my fingertips.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, we got a comment here. Where can I find the book? You can find the book. This is Hexo66. I miss you too, Hexo. Where can you find the books? You can find it on. You can find Miguel's stuff on Webtoons. Do you have a website also?
Yeah, 7robots.com.
7robots.com.
Mhm.
And then you can find my stuff on bxhcc.com. That's Bronx Heroes Comic Con.
Mhm. Now, for the person who wants to go to Webtoon, you go to Webtoon, just search for Ghost Metal.
Right.
Yeah, because you go to Webtoon, there's a whole bunch of stuff there,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Can't wait to see
yeah.
what you do. Awesome.
Yeah, I got some other surprises I can't talk about.
Yeah.
I
There's
can't.
always something up the sleeve, right? Just like as an
Yeah.
artist,
Yeah.
do you sleep well? Because I know I don't. I always have thoughts and stories in my head, even when I'm sleeping. And sometimes they're better than what I write.
Yeah, there is how can I put it? There's the mind's eye,
Right.
and then there's trying to, I guess, to use a more common download from the mind's eye to paper. More, and you try, and if you hit it at 60, you're happy. For me, it's like, wow, I got 60 of it, 60% of it.
Right.
You try to aim for 100, and it's always you try to aim for it, but there's always sort of that fuzzy distortion between what you see in your mind and what you try to slap down on paper.
Oh, I
I don't
know.
know if you find that and whatnot, but that's sort of that's the struggle, man.
I was gonna say I struggled with that my whole life. I remember as a kid
Yeah.
learning how to draw. I was like, I see it, but I can't put it down. So yeah, it's like
Yeah, and it sort of shifts
yeah,
as you start to
yes.
put it. It changes, it shifts. So
But I have I was into music when I was younger, not comics, and I wanted to become a singer, but I could never remember my lyrics. Like you hear these people
mm,
singing, and I used to always ask like musicians, like, "How do you remember your lyrics?" And they were like, "Oh, we just say it over and over again." It's like, but I say it once and I forget. It's like
yeah, yeah.
So I used to write lyrics for a lot of like small bands and stuff like that. And some were performed, some weren't.
Mm,
But it was kind of cool to see that people singing something that you wrote. That's when
yeah,
I got into comics.
music is magic to me.
It is,
That's like,
it really is.
yeah, I'd never like I never got around to doing any music. So to me, it's like magic. I love music. You
Hmm.
can ask me, with the exception of some country music, pretty much anything. But if you say to me Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson, I'm like, well, they're
Yeah,
freaking classics. I'm not going to say no. But
yeah.
you ask me about, I don't know,
It's
whoever.
funny. I was not crazy about Willie Nelson. Then I saw him in concert. A friend of mine got me a ticket many years ago, and I saw him. And I got to tell you, the guy was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I just thought, wow,
Yeah, country music tends to be pretty funny, actually.
yeah.
There's a good sense of humor there.
Hilarious. Yeah, what an entertainer. He liked to throw his headband to women, like the young girls, and then there's like and he had multiple ones. Like they'll pass him another one, he'll put it back on. That's where he threw like
There's still another one underneath.
yeah. He's like, no, just the drummer passes him another one. He puts it on right after he throws it out to the audience. It's like he had like a already tied, ready-made headbands.
Well, it's a shtick, right? That's his big thing. So hey,
Yeah, and in the parking lot, his bus smelled like weed. Like we saw like the smoke of marijuana pumping out. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. This guy is like what,
that's Willie,
80 years old or something. Like,
right? That's just Willie. I'm sure Snoop Dogg hangs out with him,
oh, yeah.
along with Cheech and Chong.
I actually follow Cheech and Chong on TikTok. But they have these little comic routines.
Oh, that must be great.
Yeah,
I might have to go on there. I always thought those guys were hilarious.
they're hilarious. They're even funnier now because like because they're elderly guys and they just make these comments, and then I mean TikTok is really a prime place for comedy for real, and
Yeah.
I think that mainstream comedians haven't really discovered that outlet as much as independent people who are just posting stuff for fun.
Yeah. Well, there was that time too that didn't Trump want to ban it
Yeah,
because it's Chinese?
because there was some group on there, some Korean group on TikTok.
Well, BTS.
Was a BTS. They bought they told their fans to buy all the tickets for his arena, and then they didn't show up.
It's very 50 Cent, by the way.
Yeah, it was over 1 million tickets sold. He was bragging about it the whole time, and then when he got there, it was like
Crickets.
maybe less than 1,000 people were actually physically there.
Yeah, that was yeah. And the only reason I know about BTS is because of my daughter.
Yeah, my son too.
Yeah, my daughter's like, "Oh, that's BTS." I'm like, oh, "Okay, all right."
Yeah,
By the way,
plus that's what I call him.
I got to fit in another Will Smith joke.
All right.
Maybe he was just trying out for that new Russian sport.
Yeah, slap.
People were seeing the slap. He just thought Chris was the practice dummy.
Right. I gotta say, I do respect him as an actor, but he has a history of being a little bitch, especially with the Bel Air when he got his co-star fired, the one that played his mom.
Yeah. Oh.
See, he blacklisted her. He said she was difficult. He said that, and she was a pregnant woman. I think she was. I don't quote me on this one. I think she was a single mom, but she was pregnant. That was the only gig she had, and he basically got her canned.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And nobody would hire her after that. Like he destroyed her career.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I wouldn't.
Jared Leto's a Joker. He did the same thing. He tried to destroy Jared Leto.
Yeah.
It didn't work. He tried.
There's a certain amount of when you try to be Mr. Goody Two Shoes that makes you when you project that.
Right.
It makes me very suspicious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Actually, he actually said once, I saw an interview with him. He said, I try to smile a lot around white people and not seem threatening.
Right.
And I thought, dude, you're tailoring yourself to the white gaze.
Right, exactly.
That's so messed up on so many levels.
Right.
Now mentioning the lady that played Aunt Viv, she came out. She said something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually cheered Will Smith on because she said she met Chris once and she said that was enough for her. So it lets you know that even though she got booted off,
right,
what she thinks of Chris. And that to me was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not surprised by the ego. That's the job. You're
super
to be the star for everyone. You're the center of the universe. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that.
Someone posted this Michael Woody. I don't know who this is, but somebody shared it with me. It says, "I'm not a fan of this woman." It's a picture of his wife. It says, "I didn't want to put her name in my fucking mouth." And
Oh,
any seasoned man knows what it looks like when another man is being led without a partner. If this woman can roll her eyes without speaking and transform her husband from laughing to anger, why didn't she use that same power to stop her so called man? Will walked slow enough to be stopped. I didn't hear his partner make a peep. Men, men, we have to do better. When you say ride or die partner, both people go down. This woman watched him slap Chris Rock and didn't stop him. She didn't console him when he sat down and didn't speak with to him about his feelings. It took Denzel Washington, Bradley Cooper, Tyler Perry to talk this dude down. Where was his woman? What am I missing? By the way, her next social media post was about herself, how she's ready for the healing season again. Not about the man that defended her honor. No apologies, no outreach. For some reason, I am not surprised her message used the word I. It seems to be always about her, not about her man or the pain Chris Rock received. And it says, "Stop narcissistic abuse," hashtag. That's pretty poignant. Nobody else has pointed
no,
to that.
there's that aspect of it. It can't be denied. I mean, like I said, this is like a cluster F.
Yeah, yeah,
There's so many things to unpack from that slap. I mean,
yeah.
so many
Real.
things. You got Chris's misogyny, you got Will Smith's. I mean, he gave up his agency to her.
Right.
He had
Yeah,
just actually sat back and said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But the fact that he was able to allow himself to be triggered,
right.
that's not up to her. That's
That's
up
what we
to
call
him.
that's what we call putting a battery in somebody's back in the Bronx.
Right. I like that. I'll have to
Like a
you know
little
what I mean?
rocket toy, you put a battery in their back. I mean,
Right, right. With the Energizer Bunny?
yeah. At first, I was like, "Wow, that's kind of cool." He defended his woman. That's awesome. But then, as the days rolled on and the info comes out, like how she cheated on him, got pregnant from the other guy, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Well,
And then had an abortion, of the kid. It's like, wow, this chick is like deeply flawed.
she actually said that if Tupac was still alive, she wouldn't even bother being with him. And she said this. I mean, like, there's so much humiliation of this guy, right? I
I feel
mean,
bad for him, but yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. There's a
Hey,
lot of, it makes me think of marriage, my own marriage.
might not have the 700 million, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of truth in it. There's so much to unpack there, uh,
Yeah.
all around it. Yeah, there is that.
Hey, men should be the protectors of women. I agree with him on that, 100%. But he's his speech, but I think he's protecting the wrong chick.
Like I said to you earlier, you didn't have to be Chuck Norris. You could have
Yeah,
been James Baldwin
right,
and
right,
just said, okay, I'll take this lick now. Wait a second.
right.
Not only going to win this, I'm going to be classy, but I'm going to make you look like the lawn jockey that you're acting.
Yeah, he could have got his award and tell him off, insult him or something.
I'm going
But
to walk right off. Said,
well,
hey, you know what? Um, I'm gonna produce The Grinch too. And you know what, Chris? You're gonna be the star. We don't need any makeup for that.
exactly.
Just walk
Yeah. He looked like an Alfred E. Newman about to get smacked. Like I was like, this is
Oh
the
yeah.
poor jester over here. Look at this guy. It's like,
But then he slapped. But you know what kind of irritates me too, though? They'll say, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came out and he said, and he's right about this, but he's very old school. He
right.
said, what Will Smith did reflects bad on the black community.
It
I have
does. It does.
several different points on that. One, there's a war in Europe right now
Hmm.
that's white on white. A
Right.
war, okay?
Yeah.
Not quite a slap. I don't see anybody from the white community coming out saying,
Right.
"Yeah, you know what?
This thing's
Uh,
like,
we're really going
well,
great. Yeah,
business as usual. That's
right,
that is.
they're civilized. They're civilized, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't see any of that. But
Exactly.
you can also flip it on top of that. So why are we doing it for the white gays? If we're doing it for the black community, like the
Right.
kids and everybody who looks up to him, because my daughter
Yeah.
loves anything Will Smith. Is the only reason I kind of follow any level of it because I
Uh-huh.
really don't care about celebrities. And any of the artists that I like are all dead.
Exactly, that's true. But you know, the thing is, as an actor, as a role model, even though they don't want to be a role model, you know,
Yeah.
children do look up to you, young teens look up to you, people, men look up to you, whether they're aware of it or not, on some unconscious level, people look up to this person. You know,
Right.
I was never a super fan of him, but I do like some of his movies. You know, I do
Yeah.
like Suicide Squad, even though people hated it. I mean, I
Right.
like I like him. I like the movie he did with his son. I don't remember the name of it, but it was great.
Right.
Divergent or whatever it was. No, not
Right.
Divergent. What was it
Right.
called?
I don't remember. It was
It's
yeah, it was something to
a
do with
space movie. It was a space movie. I thought it was good. You know, I thought it
you
was cool that he, you know, how he invests. I think it's a little weird how he kissed his son on the mouth all the time on camera. I think that's bizarre, and his son's a grown man. But I don't know. There's a lot of quirky things about that family.
know, it is what it
But as
is.
an actor, you know, it's like, hey, I'll kiss my son on the cheek, but he's a little too old now. Now I just let him know, like, hey, just give him a pat on the back. I think you're too old to be kissed. Sorry.
You know,
Maybe on top of the head when he's sleeping. You know, it's like that's it. You know, it's like,
right. But you know, it's how can I put it? So in terms of the negativity, okay, fine. But it was two black men.
yeah,
Why are we focusing on the smack and no one's focusing on the fact that Chris didn't hit back?
right, exactly.
So we're focusing on the negativity of it, but we're not focusing on the positivity
Yeah,
that Chris didn't slap back and he just composed himself. So it's kind of interesting
yeah,
that, yeah, on the one hand, Will did something very bad, but Chris did something very good.
yeah. He did.
You know, so that
Mhm.
idea of black on black crime kind of throws goes out the window.
Goes out the window. Yeah,
Yeah.
goes out the window. Yeah,
So
I work in a predominantly black high school, and that comment came up with some of the employees. And I said, well, you know, people just think about it. There's a lot of parts of the United States is just all white folks that don't know a black person or don't know a Hispanic person, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, there you go. Look." You know, it reinforces the stereotypes, the negativity, the racist jargon associated with it.
I would say it doesn't reinforce it. It just excuses because they already
Excuse,
had it.
no excuses. You have better words than I do, but it's like
Excuses it. No, I'm just saying it
no,
excuses it. You
you
already had
express
it.
you
You
express it
know,
much more cleverer than I do. But you know, for me, I when I saw it, I was like, wow, like it bothered me all night. Like I don't give
really?
a shit about these guys. I don't care about rich people. I actually hate watching the Oscars
Yeah.
because I cannot stand watching movies that have to deal with rich people. You know, it's just like even Batman bothers me sometimes. Like there's this rich guy and he's fighting the poor and the weak and the mentally ill. It's like, why don't you build a homeless shelter or a mental institution, Bruce? Why are you going around beating up these the
Or why aren't his villains also rich?
right, exactly. You
You
know?
know, they're trying to take over his company or something, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, and, you know, I how can I say it?
That's
Batman is the
uh,
Anglo Zorro.
yeah, exactly.
Zorro was a class traitor through and
Yeah,
through. He's
uh,
like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna play the suave part, but in the back, I'm totally anti-government, right? And to me,
exactly.
you know, he's not beating up on the poor; he's beating up on the military,
Yeah,
you
true.
know, and
He's
it's like,
pretending the poor, whereas Batman beats up on the poor and the mentally
yeah,
ill.
and on top of that, he needs a lozenge because
Right.
he's a
That's
fast. I tell you to be I would be hilarious to me to see someone say he shows up and he does I'm Batman and he says, "Bruce, is that you?" You know,
Jimmy
that's
Fallon with the cell phone. He's like this, like
uh, it's like
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. You know, Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it does bother me. For me, it didn't bother me that they did that. I just wish that there was actually a full on brawl
Yeah,
at the Oscars, like like a big bar brawl. Everyone's just getting in a fight.
like Parliament, like
Be awesome. You know, some Hayek says, "Hey, you did this to me." Next thing you know, everything just goes to crap.
like a chain bar fight.
Just
I
all
worked, I worked in a prison 2 years ago, and that happened. It was like right after Christmas. Everyone just came back from vacation.
right.
One guy's walking down the hall. They said something to each other. They started punching each other, fighting. And then other people started jumping in and fighting that other guy who fought. But then they started fighting each other for trying to break up the fight. And before you knew it, there were 75 people fighting in the hallway.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. So I literally just walked through the crowd. I didn't get punched. People were like, where were you? We thought you were going to help us break up the fight. I was like, I'm not breaking up a. I don't want to get punched in the face. Thank you. I was like, I'm going to go have a bagel in the lounge. It's like,
Just watch from over here with my bucket of popcorn.
yeah, like all these guys. It's only 11 of us, and there's more of them. And it's like, and it's like. They all came back sweating, ripped shirts. Where were you? We were looking for you. It's like, I'm here. I'm eating my bagel. I'm taking it easy. Doing the crossword.
Were you tempted to say, "What do you mean? What happened?"
But they all saw me walking through the crowd. They saw me. I couldn't. I wasn't that invisible. I was like, "Where's he going?" Like,
Sorry, man. What? There was a fight? Man, I would have helped you out. Yeah, I woke up. I don't care for the Oscars. I haven't watched an awards show since the Grammys when I feel that Michael got cheated out of Grammys as a teen back then. It was for his album Bad, and I was just like, forget it. Award shows are crap anyway. Jimi Hendrix never won an award anyway, so who cares?
no, not even post-mortem, right?
Not even postmortem. So I'm like, screw it.
Yeah.
So I woke up in the morning. I saw one of my friends posted up "Safe from Will Smith," and I'm just like, "The heck is he talking about?" Right? And I'm starting to look at the social media, and I see he did what? That's gotta be the dumbest thing I've seen.
If I was there, I would have threw a bottle at somebody randomly.
I think it would have just been great to see them all fight. I mean, they're already rich anyway, so why
Yeah,
not?
exactly. Fuck them.
Screw them.
They don't have to wake up in the morning and go to work. It's like.
The
No, I bet you that whole room called out the next morning from stress. Like, oh,
oh yeah.
can't be on
Well,
set today.
what's hilarious is that I just wonder how many of those people were calling for a no-fly zone, a no-fly zone in Ukraine.
Yeah,
It's like, so you guys are cool with World War III.
right,
That's
exactly.
what it means.
They just stole. They just stole Zelensky's fire for like the whole week.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy's like, can I have some more? Shut up, man. Will Smith.
He also like Sam Jackson got his very first Oscars and they didn't even air it.
No.
They cut it. They're like, okay, no more black people on the Oscars. No, we're not gonna have any more of this.
Maybe he needed to slap Chris too.
Yeah, for real, for real.
That should be the new gag. Everybody goes up and just slaps.
Like that movie Airplane where they're like punching that lady and they're lining up.
And they got the bricks and stuff. Yeah, it was so absurd.
The nun, the boxing gloves, the crowbar.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering when he would crack, actually. I was wondering when he was going to crack.
Yeah, he's taking a lot. I feel bad for him. Did you
Well,
see the King
yeah.
Richard movie? It was pretty good. It was a very good movie.
Yeah, I have to check it out. I tend to like his work, and he does come across as very personable.
Mhm.
But I think that after, like I told you, that interview where he said, he tries to do everything, to seem non-threatening, which is really funny now.
What's funny is that the irony is that in the movie, King Richard gets his ass kicked multiple times. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, and I feel bad for the Williams family.
yeah, I feel bad for them. They're like, what the fuck?
What's going on? You know?
Yeah, and then he just compared us to our father. What the hell? I was like- the father didn't like that. He was like, I disagree with Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be doing that. Yeah, I mean, there comes an age,
Right,
usually around 16, 17, where it's like, yeah, I'll end up in jail.
exactly.
So you start to sort of sharpen your words
And this
and
guy's
figure out ways.
53.
Yeah, and if you're Michael Jackson, you start getting enough money to buy people's catalogs and shit. Hey,
Right.
I'm the boss, man. What? You think it's funny now? So
Usually we go like an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I got to cut it short. I have another appointment.
sure,
Set.
no problem, man.
Let's next time, let's we're going to meet up next week or the week after, whenever you like. Let's
Sure.
we'll do that, and I
Yeah.
would like to see some art, like see you drawing in action. How's that? How you
Yeah.
like drawing live?
Yeah, that's kind of a little trick.
Right? Thanks for tuning in. Hold on. Hold on, hang on.
All right.
Hold on.